Hey, boys and girls, Doug Giles here, little boyers, Rich,
and Wildmen. Yep, that's what's up. What's up, Doug? What's happening?
Yeah, I'm kind of getting, first of all, to the Warriors and Wildmen subscriber, the listener, I'm talking about the zealot. This is a safe space for you. It might not be a safe space for your genteel little tinkerpot friends or family. But it's a safe space if you like this thing called rich, unvarnished truth. Can you dig it?
I can dig it.
I knew you could, man. I knew you could. Hey, Kevin Hart, unless you live under a log, Warrior and Wildman subscriber listener, you've got to have heard what happened to Kevin Hart. Rich, Kevin quits the Oscars, man, because I think it was like 9 years ago. He makes some, off the cuff, hey, I don't want my son to be gay tweet. And now all of a sudden, USA Today, I think they're the ones said, it has surfaced that Kevin Hart made a homophobic tweet back in 2009 or something like that.
Yeah, whenever it was, long time ago.
Yeah, he gets shit canned. Or no, he didn't get canned. He said, look,
he stepped down. He refused to apologize.
Yeah, and you know what? I think it's awesome that he did that. I'm so tired of this kind of garbage. And I'm the male chauvinist, patriarchal, right-wing Doug who, like a bad shopping cart with that one bad wheel, he's always going to go right on every issue. You know who's with me and you on this issue, Rich? This organization called GLAAD, and it's like the activist arm of the homosexual community, and they're like, we don't think Hart should apologize for it. We think that the Oscars and Hart ought to grow the blank up and use this as a teachable moment. Now, I might not agree with what they want taught, to us poor plebeians in the United States as sassy secularism, but at least, man, they're not requiring Kevin Achtung repent for
Can I jump in with a teachable moment?
For some midnight tweet. Absolutely, man.
I'll jump in with a teachable moment for GLAAD. Next time you're going to plug in your power cord.
Check Jethro's oil.
No, if you're going to plug in the power cord in the wall, you're going to plug in a lamp or something. Don't take the male plug and plug it into the female plug, because you deny the simple science and reality. Just get another male plug and make it work. Just keep slamming it together and saying it works. It doesn't matter if the light comes on. Just keep slamming it together, saying it works. You know what? Take the two female ones. Just take the female end of a plug, an extension cord, and just keep poking it at the wall and saying, look, it works for me. Well, there's no light, but whatever. You want to deny science. There's a teachable moment for you. You know what I mean? Here's another teachable moment. You got to get out the dictionary and look up the word deviant. And people will say, well, that's derogatory. No, it's a term in the English language that talks about people that do not conform to the norms of society. And that would be called sociology, definitions, English. But today you're not allowed to use words like deviant or the English language, or words like truth, Doug, and here's two words that they hate, right and wrong. Can't use those words. But let's go back to the Kevin Hart thing, since that's the end of my teachable moment. How about this? You don't get to go back that many years ago and judge Kevin Hart's statement based on what our society has become today. How about that?
Well, it's a different day, man. And it's interesting. Nick Cannon, who is Mariah Carey's ex-husband, I bet that guy's got some stories. Anyway, Nick Cannon said, so we can't make gay jokes? We can't say fag? We can't do homophobic. Oh, by the way, Rich, can you still call a cigarette in England a fag, or is that now verboten?
Hey, dude, one time I was in the hospital. I was visiting the hospital. My great-grandfather was there. My great-grandmother was standing there, and she goes, yeah, I was in 7th grade, Doug. She goes, I'm going to have to go outside and suck on a fag. And I turned and looked like that, and my mom elbowed me real hard, like, don't say anything. And when she walked away, I was like, what the heck is she talking about? My mom said, a fag is a bundle of sticks. It's slang for a cigarette. I said, she need to update her slang.
Right. Yeah. So anyway, we'll have to get one of my buddies on from England, Raheem Kassam. Maybe he'll give us the skinny if the Brits can call a cigarette a fag. But anyway, so Nick Cannon, he sticks a stick in the happy magic bucks wheel of the left who are, hard grinding on Kevin Hart for tweeting a homophobic slur back 10 years ago. And then Nick Cannon, Mariah Carey's ex, he said, does this extend also to who did it? Oh, Chelsea Handler. Chelsea Handler tweeted out, this is what a fag bird looks like when he flexes. And Nick asked the question. He queried the Oscars and the thought police there in the United States, again, of sassy secularism, if there if there should be any backlash for Chelsea. Also, Amy Schumer, who I don't know how this chick is famous, man. I get Kim Kardashian. You do a porn tape. Paris Hilton, film her, blowing one of her boyfriends. They're cute. All of a sudden, they're famous. I don't understand why Amy Schumer's famous. She's not funny. She's not attractive. But you know what? She said in, let's see, December 7th, 2018, I believe, enjoy Skyfall, fags. I'm about to get knee deep in Helen Hunt. Hashtag the sessions. But there's no outrage over Schumer saying, oh, I know why she's famous. Chuck Schumer. Chucky, Chucky, the one you saw Trump dust yesterday in the Oval Office. He's her uncle. So anyway, Amy gets a pass. Chelsea gets the pass. Sarah Silverman, that chick blasts homosexuals all the time with the most egregious terminology. And Rich, nary a peep. Kevin Hart, oh my God, man.
Well, Doug, we got to bring up the whole concept of comedy. One of the great things is that comedians point out things. They don't teach you anything. They point out things that are everyday things that we all know that we never thought to say, and they point it out in a funny way, and we all laugh at ourselves and we enjoy it. Yeah. I mean, because you look at a comedian and they talk about, what do they talk about? They talk about, obviously they used to talk about homosexuals. That's funny. They talk about marriage. That's funny. They talk about kids. It's funny. They talk about different races and cultures. That's hilarious.
Not anymore.
But we used to all laugh at that because that's funny. Those are, look, man, you know what, Doug? Forget it. From now on, I'm not going to go to a Mexican food restaurant. I'm not going to go to a Chinese food. I want my restaurant to say food.
That's it.
Just food. I don't want Mexican food.
I want to delineate the source.
Why would we say Mexican food? Because we know what we want. It's a good thing. And you want to know something, Doug? There are incredible things about the Mexican culture. Amazing things. And there are terrible things about the Mexican culture. And you know what's funny? When a comedian makes fun of both of them. There's incredible things about white culture or European culture or Anglo-Saxon white American culture. There are things that are awesome, and there's things that are freaking hilarious. And you want to know what's funny? That they're true. And of course they exaggerate, so it makes it funny. Black culture, Asian culture.
Rich, you know how
Doug, that's funny. It's funny.
You know how I know I'm white? My trebles my trebles turned up higher than my bass in my car. Rich, you want to know how I also know how I'm white?
How?
Because when I go through the toll booth, like when I used to live in Miami, going over to Key Biscayne to go fishing out of the beautiful Biscayne Bay Marina, and I give the toll booth operator $1, and she says, "Have a nice day." I say, "Okie dokie." Hey, when
it's just funny. It's about comedians. That's the fun thing. It's making fun of truths and differences, and that's that brings us together, Doug. It brings us together.
Can't do it.
I told a person one time. I told a pastor. I said, but you can't do it like that because you're trying to turn that church into a black church. And he said, "You're a racist." I said, I'm not talking about racism. I'm not talking about color. I'm talking about the culture of a black church. I said, you have a church that's existed for 25 years the way that it is, and you're trying to change the culture of an entire church. And I said, my point has nothing to do with black or white and he literally latched onto that. And if you say black church, you think of culture and a style of church. If you say white church, you think of people who clap on the wrong beat if they can find one. Look, man, that's a reality. That doesn't, when we delineate something, it doesn't make it, doesn't mean it's bad or good. We're just making a delineation. Now you can't even say, "Hey, I'm waiting for my friend. What's he look like?" He's a tall black guy. You can't even say that. You have to try to describe them without their race because that doesn't even make any sense. It doesn't make any. We're trying to act like those things don't matter, but they're the things that make the world a great place if people have right attitudes and if you do it with respect.
That's what the liberals they're great at, man. You got to give it to them. They're great at making everything suck everywhere that they go. Nobody wants to live, like you said, in some kind of sterile, Lysol disinfected environment where we've got to fly like 6 inches off everybody's taste swing and not deviate 1 angstrom, or all of a sudden, the universe is out of whack. I don't think there's too many people really in America or in the planet that don't like or don't mind having a good hee-haw over any group of people. And it's just the liberals and the thought police and those who want to monitor and garner our speech and corral us into this little joyless, cul-de-sac of obedience to their religion. I like what John Cleese said, and I'm a big Monty Python fan. My evangelical brother's rich. They don't think I can be born again if I like Monty Python, especially The Life of Brian. Have you seen The Life of Brian?
No.
Oh my God, brother! You got to see The Life of Brian. You know what it's about?
No, I never even heard of it.
Come on, man. You and Annie got to get some cigars tonight, big ass jug of beer, and watch The Life of Brian. So this kid named Brian is born the same day, same night, same time, in the same stable area that Jesus is born in. And the wise men get jacked up, and they think that Brian's Jesus, and they go into the wrong manger. They start worshiping the wrong guy. He doesn't want to be worshiped. He doesn't want to be followed. So they're badgering him all his 30 plus years while Christ is simultaneously ministering alongside of him. And as far as a movie that makes fun of Christendom and the church, it's dated. It's early 70s. It's par excellence, man. It's second to none.
I'll have to check it out. That sounds really fun.
And here's what's the rub about it. Everybody's like, man, that's a demonic movie. That's not a movie a Christian should watch. It makes fun of God. It's like, no, it doesn't. It makes fun of dorky Christians.
Yes. There's a difference. And there's a difference.
Oh, brother, The Life of Brian. But anyway, Cleese says this, man. And Cleese is like he's, 75, 80 years old, been doing great comedy for many moons. Monty Python, The Holy Grail, Life of Brian, Meaning of Life, all that stuff, just classic comedy. He said humor by its very nature is critical. Okay? Do you hear that, leftists? It's critical by its very nature.
That's what's funny.
And he said, and if you say that there is a special group of folks that you cannot offend, then humor is gone. And when humor goes, there goes a good sense of proportion. And when that vanishes, Cleese says, as far as I'm concerned, we're living in frickin' 1984.
Yep.
And that's where we are right now, amigo. Right now, brother.
Doug, I heard a comedian say something that could be one of the most offensive things ever. And I don't remember his name, but I'm going to quote him a little bit on it. And it's shocking. But he has a glass of water on stage and he says, yep, I'm going to turn this water into wine right now. And everybody started laughing. He goes, oh, don't think it's funny. I only need 12 of you to believe it. And the people were like, what? And he goes, yeah, you just don't understand salvation, how it works. He goes, come on, you're not Indians. We can't beat it into you. And the crowd got silent. And I was watching TV, Doug, when the guy was on. And I was like, what did he just say? And he said, if you're offended, you didn't get it. Because check it out. The idea that he's bringing up is absolutely offensive. But he wasn't saying it in a way that was offensive to Native Americans. But people miss that. You know what I mean? Like, that's actually, see, to me, that is creative humor, because that's not just saying cuss words and now I'm funny. Like, that's a thought that guy made people consider a reality of history, but he said it in a way that shocked them and set them back. But I remember it all these years later. You know what I mean? Because it wasn't right the way that they force converted Native Americans in America, But he brought it up in a funny way that makes you think, look, a lot of comedians are dark people. They tend to be dark because they're very introspective. But here's another thing. A lot of comedians are geniuses because they look at things in society like that and they say things that make us think. I like that. I like a comedian that thinks. Crack me up and make me think about something. I don't want to hear your George Lopez political rant at the end of the thing because he stopped being funny a long time ago. You know what I mean? The fatter he gets, the less funny he is.
Yeah, Chevy
so put
Chase,
him on a diet.
Chevy Chase said, all the Saturday Night Live guys, all the talk show guys, he said, your adamant leftist bent has killed the funky bottom line creativity of comedy that Saturday Night Live used to be hailed for 30, 40 years. That joke that you just told reminded me about one that Dennis Miller told way back in the day. He said, the reason why we left King George and our snaggletooth forebears in England is that they wouldn't let it. They wanted to tell us who to worship, when to worship, and where to worship. And that's why we packed up our Mayflower and drove that thing across the Atlantic and started a new nation and killed the Indians, because we weren't going to be told what to do. And you're like, okay, all right, I see that. Yeah,
it's a little history, it's a little funny, and then here's some truth. It's like, man, we weren't. Hey, I've said this, Doug. I wrote this quote. Well, it's my quote, so I guess not a quote. I just said something, wrote it on Facebook. I like when people quote themselves. It's the best. You don't have to quote yourself. You're talking. But anyway, I said, for those who love me, I'm not as good as you think I am, and for those who hate me, I'm not as bad as you think I am. And the reality is, we'll look at an event like that, and we'll look at it with,
rose-colored glasses,
flag glasses on, and pretend like those things didn't happen. And there were terrible things that happened. Now, we got to get into all of that. But the reality is, it's a great thought. It's a valid thought. Hey, man, we wanted to be free, and then we went and conquered some people. It's like, So that, to me, that's great comedy, though, because it's like, man, that's funny. Oh, crap, that got real, And it makes you think about stuff. And so, okay, homosexuality. Look, man, I am against homosexuality, not in a comedic sense. I'm not into homosexuality. I'm against homosexuality because it's against the word of God. But I don't hate homosexuals. I'm not against homosexuals. I'm against the agenda, but I'm not against them as people. And you know what? I don't put them down as individuals. I love them. We try to get them saved and help them. And so people could say whatever they want. That's what the Bible says.
I got to tell if there's any people that's their proclivity, that's their penchant, that's their bent, is that, the Bible condemns a lot of other stuff aside from homosexuality.
It's not the only thing.
I don't like Romans 1 either, okay? And again, it's not, and men shall lie with men, and the people, manifest anger and gossip and slander and bitterness, and it's like
disrespecters of parents.
There's a lot of balls that the Holy Spirit's punching in Paul's rant in Romans 1 chapter Romans 1 verses 16 through the end of it. I think it's verse 32. There's a freaking mountain of maledictions against our hermeneutical mess. How's that for some theological talk?
I like that. Sounding good, Doug. You let the smart out.
Hey, check this out. So Kevin Hart's a bad man for tweeting a homophobic tweet 9 years ago. I guarantee every freaking person that has any kind of political or Hollywood aspirations is purging the shit out of their Twitter feed.
Oh, they are. And that's, again, remember, like the Me Too movement, and like we've said 100 times, we obviously care that women are sexually harassed, molested, raped, all this.
We shouldn't
have to say that.
My daughters will beat the living hell out of them or kill them on the spot.
Okay, but anyway. Here's the thing. Like they say, yeah, but 25 years ago, this guy was the CEO of the company and he grabbed my butt. And it's like, okay, that's wrong. But 25 years ago, it was wrong.
Yeah.
It wasn't you lose your company wrong.
It was little W wrong.
It was, hey, don't do that. You know what I mean?
Hey, Rich,
here's the problem. We wait 25 years later and we change our laws. Standards. Look, you can't do that with the legal system. You can't make a law today and go back and punish somebody for a law that they broke that didn't exist. So you don't get to do that in society and say, now this is the worst evil that ever hit. And then we go back 25 years and we punish you for it. So this is where we are with homosexuality. Kevin Hart's not out there trying to pick on homosexuals. Right. But at that time, that was funny. It was acceptable. They're trying to go back and punish him for a crime that wasn't a crime at that time, socially speaking.
Yeah, and the thing that I think is interesting is because you saw, the dog pile. Here comes, E-News. They start dog piling. CNN, they're like, tisk, Don Lemon. MSNBC, they start axe grinding against Kevin Hart. And then lo and behold, Rich, Christmas comes early. for guys like me and you. Check this out. Mika Brzezinski. She's, Morning Joe, the blonde-headed chick that co-hosts with Morning Joe. I
don't know who she is, and I've never seen that show
once
in my whole life.
But they are the arbiters of all things that is holy, just, and true. In the Church of the New Groove, I'm talking about the cult of leftists. And since Kevin Hart transgressed against the cult of the left, they, again, enacted massive coverage, which was negative sanctions upon poor Kevin's 5'2" frame. Well, Mika, who happens to be, again, one of I think she's a sergeant, Rich, in the Thought Police Brigade over at MSNBC. Sergeant Mika, check this out. She hurls a homophobic slur live on air as she refers to Secretary of State Mike Pompeo as Trump's wannabe dictator's butt boy.
What?
Yeah, man. You see what happened. So here's
so
the
let me
lowdown.
guess. Now she's fired and she doesn't have a job.
She gets a frickin' award. She probably gets a promotion. Okay. Yeah, because Pompeo's white. He's conservative. He's pro-Trump. I don't know if he's a Christian. Could be. I don't know. It sounds kind of Italian or Greek or something. Could be in the Orthodox or the Catholic tradition. I don't know. But he checks off all the boxes of somebody who you can ridicule and receive a quadruple standard and probably get a high-paying speaking gig for telling truth and speaking it to power, Rich.
That's craziness, man. And then they're picking on Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart's funny. And you know what, Kevin Hart, look, I don't think Kevin Hart's a Christian. I don't know. But when you look at Kevin Hart, he's a guy that likes people. He's a pretty positive guy. He's a funny guy. He has a lot of great friends. The people that are around him are good people. He's a family guy. Kevin Hart's not out there. He's not like me and you. Look, if they hate our guts, Doug, we get that. We will give you reasons every week on Warriors and Wildmen to hate our freaking guts. Not only that, you can follow us anywhere you can find us, and we'll give you a reason daily to hate our guts. But Kevin Hart, he's not that guy. That's jacked, man. That's their agenda. If the homosexual agenda is their holy grail, nobody's allowed to touch it, and they hold it up, and it's the deal. That's garbage, man. That's garbage. You know what? And that makes me want to make a joke. I'm gonna think of one. I'm gonna think of a joke.
See, that's interesting that you brought that up about creating a joke, doing comedy. This is something that I think, even though we know it's all bad, we know that the arguments are specious, we know that this is political correctness on steroids, we know that it's Orwellian, as John Cleese put it. But here's the challenge to writers and podcasters and provocateur gadflies like you and I and the other great ones that are out there. This takes the creativity level to mean Olympic grade type stuff. We've got to get so creative and so what's the word I'm looking for? Creative. We got to take it to the next level, brother, to where we can bust their chops and they don't even understand that they just got rode like a mule, man. And that's what I think. That's what I dig about this new day and age. You can do the Bill Burr approach where he's just like f y'all, and he can just keep doing his thing. Now I was imitating Bill Burr. I wasn't actually saying that.
We'll throw a bleep in there.
Hey, Rich, that's the path. If you listen to Bill Burr's podcast every week, oh my gosh, man, he's going to go down with the ship, and or he's going to right the ship, one or the other. He's either going to completely die on that sword, because he's not playing games, brother. I mean, he's going after these PC police, and he goes after the black crowd and the gay crowd. The blacks come after him. He's like, I'm married to a black woman. Bite me. She loves my comedy. She doesn't like the words I use, but she loves the comedy. I have a half black little baby, so shut the front door. But he's not having none of it, man. And he said, and I was talking, or no, I wasn't talking. I was listening to Rogan, and he was talking to some comedian, and they're talking about how comedians and podcasters and provocateurs and opinionists really need to ride whatever their gift, whatever their bent is, just into the fray, into the fire, into
Just
the
go for
fight.
it.
Unless it's just stupid and gross and hate-filled.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
if it's really creative and comedic and you're getting good laughs from, an eclectic group, then don't try to be cast by Hollywood. Just do your damn thing. There's so much money to be made from podcasts and doing your own kind of stuff that you don't need Hollywood's approval. Because if you move down that road and you want to be cast and you want this or that, and everybody and their dog on that side of the field is leftist, guess what you got to become, or you're not going to get employed. And he just encouraged, the provocateurs and the opinionists and the comedians. It's like, dude, just hone your craft. Become great in your message. Stay the course, because there's a lot of people that aren't smoking the leftist dope, and they're not octunking to every jackboot that tells them to,
I'll tell you what, Doug, I'll be in court on Friday. And, my attorney, he's doing what a good attorney is doing. He's telling me, you have to appear like this, you have to appear like that. And this is what I said, Doug. Why do I have to pretend to be someone that I'm not so that I can be seen as innocent from something I never did? How is it possible that some turd bag bent ex-member can file an order of harassment against someone that never liked them when they attended their church? Like, this dude is crazy out of his mind. But then we're playing the game. We have to go sit down. Everybody has to pretend. You know what, Doug? Let me ask you this. Whatever happened to let's just tell the truth and let the truth be the truth? Why do we have to play a game? Like, I get it, you got to dress up, but why do you got to play the game? So what we're doing is we're appealing to all these people, and it's like, okay, I'm here, now I'm going to be this person. And I'm here, and I'm going to be this person. You know what my attitude, Doug, is? I don't care. I don't care what. Now, I respect the judge. I respect our courts. Just because I do. But I'll tell you something. I don't care if they say I'm innocent or guilty. I don't give a rip what they say, because one day they're going to stand at the throne with me face to face with Jesus, and they're going to know what's up. Then the truth is going to be out. But in the meantime, I'm not going to be who people want me to be. I don't care if they make it illegal to say the things I say. I'm still going to say them, and then come try to freaking find me. That's what I'll tell you what. I'm done with this crap, man. Too many people are conforming to all this garbage.
Okay, so check this out. Mika, Rich, referred to Secretary of State Mike Pompeo as and again, this is the left's staid sergeant of all things that are holy, just, and good. She's a spokesperson for the left, Richard, a wannabe dictator's butt boy.
Gosh, that's
Dude,
and that's imagine? Okay. But you could say that. Yeah. If you're on the left, you could say whatever you want.
Can you imagine if Dana Perino said, you know what?
Oh,
Chuck Schumer is Obama's butt boy. Her show would be just boom. The lights would go out.
Done.
By the time she said "oi," it would
finished.
It would be studios black.
That's right. Lights out, powers off. SWAT teams coming in.
You're right. Here comes the black helicopters. So she was attacking Pompeo after an appearance that he did on Fox and Friends, during which he was evasive about the administration's response to the Khashoggi's murder. Pompeo claimed in the interview that it was inaccurate to say that the CIA concluded that the Saudi crown prince, ordered Khashoggi's murder. So Brzezinski apologized for her comments after being called out for equating homosexuality with Mike Pompeo as carrying water for the murderous regime. Here's what she said, and I quote, "Totally agree with you. Super bad choice of words. I should have said water boy." So guess who will not respond for comment after Micah's little super bad choice of words? MSNBC won't reply to anybody. Hey, they're
not going to be held to any standard. We know that.
Oh, yes, they will have a standard. It'll be a quadruple standard. Again, she'll get a reward. She'll get a freaking reward. She'll host the Oscars. But Kevin Hart, Rich Whitmer, whoever our Warrior Wildmen listener is, you say that kind of crap at work, guess what? Because you're a Christian, because you're a conservative, you're done. And Doug, that's the world we're living in.
Let me throw this out there, Doug. Let me throw this out there. So I read a little bit. I would consider myself at least aware of what's going on in the world a little bit, right? I've traveled the world a little bit. I'm going to make a confession right here on Warriors and Wildmen.
Uh-oh.
I do not know what the Oscars are. Also don't know what the Grammys are and the Emmys. I have no idea, Doug,
Let me tell you what it is,
what the
Rich.
difference. Well, check this out. I don't know the difference of any of them because I don't give a rip about any of that crap because I honestly don't even care. I've never watched it one time in my entire life, Doug, and I'm 150 years old.
Here's what it's it used to be that they would acknowledge and celebrate the talent, somebody in film and music, daytime television, Tony Awards for the plays and musicals and shit like that. Now it's come to see to see the left self-preen, congratulate themselves, and who can repeat the politically correct phrase in the most effective manner, one after the other, until they drum it into our head that Hollywood truly sucks and that it is something that wise parents should shield their kids from because it's gonzo, down the drain, socialism, anti-Americanism, anti-Christianity, anti-capitalism, anti-freedom, and they celebrate that puke 24/7, 365, and that's what those shows are all about now. Before, used to be great. Now, it's a whole nother world, baby.
That's why I don't watch it. I literally have never watched it one time.
Hey, here's what we ought to do.
I've watched Kevin Hart.
Yeah, here's what we ought to do. Warriors Wellman listener, this weekend, chilling, pull up your favorite app, whatever you watch, Netflix or Prime Video, watch a Kevin Hart movie. And
support
him. And put some money in his pocket, man.
Kevin Hart and The Rock.
Absolutely, man. Don't back down. Don't apologize. Tell the people, I'm not going to go back 10 years and delete it like I didn't say it because I did say it. I've evolved a little bit, but you know what? I'm not going to bow and kiss the ring of the thought police and political correctness. Yep. All of you can kiss my ass. I'm going to just mosey on. You guys can find some little step and fetch to do your bidding, but it's not going to be moi. And you know what? For that, I salute you, Kevin Hart.
That's right. And when you're getting on that app, get on the app for the podcast. Go to Warriors and Wildmen. Download our podcast. Subscribe. Rate us, review us. Get on Facebook. Well, if we're still kind of doing Facebook until we move over. But if you want to find out where we're at and what's going on, you can find us from Facebook, unfortunately. But we're moving away from that. If you haven't listened to our episode on the creepy line, you need to listen to that. That was amazing. And follow us on Instagram, Twitter, wherever else we're at. Warriors and Wildmen. That's what's up.
Yeah, and also subscribers and forward these things on. If you got some buddies that you think would dig it, male or female, we don't care. Forward that email on, put in a text, and stay rowdy, stay tuned.